Hey, Tactical here. So today we're going to be talking about knives and their defensive use, also for survival, bushcraft, that kind of stuff.
This video was brought to you by GearBest.
GearBest is our sponsor. They donated all of these knives to us. So thanks to GearBest, we're going to talk about the uses for these different knives. Survival and bushcraft to self-defense and concealed carry. So we're going to start from smallest to largest. Now, any knife is better than no knife, but not when it comes to this guy. As far as self-defense goes, this is obviously very concealable and can certainly do a lot of damage to the assailant as long as you can get a grip on that knife. Now, one of the downfalls of a small knife like this is without a tang here, it's very easy for our fingers to slip down and cut ourselves. So especially in that stabbing motion, if we apply too much pressure, it's very easy to come over. So it's very important that you're mindful of that. This particular knife has these little holes. Maybe this is more geared towards women because, I mean, I'm not getting in there. So, I don't know, like a little pinky ring knife here. There we go. That's good. Oh, that's kind of, yeah, I wouldn't really want. All right. I mean, I'm sure one punch I'd break my pinky, but I mean, that would really, oh, it's not coming off. That's not, okay.
Are you serious?
Yep. Yep, all right.
Here, wait, let me help you.
So I'm going to talk to you about basic knife fighting skills. Now, something you see a lot in the movies is the whole like, oh, I got the knife out here. And if you use that knife as a shield, that's not going to work for you. So you put your knife hand out there and you're putting yourself at risk. So this is your lifeline. This is what's going to save your life, so you want to protect it. So take your knife fighting hand and bring that back to your hip. Then take your other hand, and you're going to get cut in a knife fight, but this is your protection hand, so protect your throat and your vitals. You don't want to get stabbed in the chest or in the gut or in the throat or in the face anywhere, right? So this hand here is your shield hand. If the knife comes anywhere, this hand is defensive. Now, this hand is obviously the offensive hand. So there's a couple different moves, right? So we have the slash, which we're going to like do the little choo-choo train where we push forward and slash down. There you go, the choo-choo train. Then we have our stab, right? Straight forward, penetration stab. And then we can come at different angles, right? So here we go. And then we can come from this way. And so this is the bulldog where we stab into the throat, turn inside the throat, come back, stab into the throat, turn, and come back. So this is the bulldog where we come from different angles. And then bring that defensive knife back to the hip.
So this is a pretty neat little guy right there. It's spear-shaped as it sits in your pocket. Has a pretty nice little clip there. Looks like it's reversible. It's very droppable. So to deploy it, you open it up there, and it's got a little locking mechanism there. We're gonna go ahead and give that a little test later and see if we can break it. So the curvature of this knife is definitely very beneficial. So when you have a small knife like this, when it has a good curvature, you can get your hand all the way on the knife, and you put your thumb on the back of it, and you can definitely use that for defensive use, or poking and stabbing, or just using it for utility and whatever you need. So it's a pretty cool tool to, when you have a small knife, to have that curvature. It's very beneficial. By the way, all of these knives are less than $20. I like cheap knives because I'm very hard on my knives. I find them to be semi-disposable. I've had a couple good knives in my life, and they do work better, but taking care of them, sharpening them, maintaining them takes a lot of time. Also, they're not invincible. They do break, and I rather just treat my knife crappy. All right, so here's another little folder. You should always have a pocket knife on you. Folders are really good. They don't deploy as quick as a fixed blade knife. They're definitely very effective at concealability and keeping it in your pocket, and well, it's been a long day.
Out of all these, this one's probably my favorite. Feels like it's got the strongest blade, so if I have to pry something open, it just doesn't snap on me, like this one right here. Mm-hmm. I don't know, just feels like that. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not an expert on knives. This guy's an expert. He's a super secret forces Marine. He was in the Space Force. He was in the secret Space Force defending Mars colonies from aliens.
Finally, you're telling the truth. If you had to choose one of these knives for a survival situation, which one would you choose? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or not this one. Just don't pick this one. So there are 3 fixed blade knives here. This one, and this one. For a survival situation, I'd probably pick the hardiest and heaviest one, which is going to be this one, with a very thick blade. It's going to be better for batoning. I can do a lot more with this. I have a lot more faith in this not breaking down. So one of the benefits of having a fixed blade knife in a survival situation, any folder whatsoever, you have mechanical devices inside there, and they are prone to failure over time and heavy use. So when you have a full tang or a fixed blade knife of some sort, that knife is very unlikely to break or malfunction on you. A full tang knife is where the steel from the blade goes through all the way through the handle to the very end. Oftentimes you'll see a knife like this, for example, where you can see the steel going all the way through and running to the end here. So this is the full tang knife there. And we have the handles on either side. So a full tang fixed blade knife like this is definitely preferred.
Defend, distract, attack. Defend, distract, attack. The idea is, when in that knife fight, you set yourself up for the contact. You come in, just 2 or 3 seconds, get as many vitals as you can, try to get as cut as little as you can in least vital spots, back up and let them bleed out. All right, so here we go.
That was good aim though.
Yeah.
Eat it.
Success. This is practice for eating the hearts of my enemies.
Stop! You got the film, dude. Stop! Oh, you didn't even wash that.
It's on my tree. It's organic. Are you kidding me?
A bird pooped on that. Now you have like bird food. So, oh, now you have Chinese cancer. Ew.
As opposed to any other type of cancer. This cancer came from China.
Yeah.
It's imported. Well, then it's not going to work very well then.
Yeah.
My hand's a little sticky. My mouth kind of burns.
I wonder why.
So it's locked in there pretty good there, and you press the button and you pull the knife. The placement of that button's a little awkward, I would say. If this was attached to my gear and I pressed that button, I would have to get in there. It's compared to this holster.
That one's actually like a friction holster too. Look inside the.
Oh yeah, that's actually kind of nice. So you have good retention on this holster, even without it buckled. Pretty good. These are not holsters; these are sheaths. Holsters are for guns.
So I asked Cal if it's a good idea to lock up the knife farm if somebody ever attacks you with a knife. He says no, and this is why.
So you should never try to grab that knife hand and try to disable it, because the knife never stops being dangerous. So we're going to say this is the blade here, and I'm going to go ahead and let Tiki get whatever advantage he wants on me. I'm going to go ahead and close my eyes. Now I'm left-handed. I'm using my right hand. It's my weak hand. I'm going to close my eyes. He's going to go ahead and grab that however he wants. He's going to tell me when to go. All right, he thinks he's got a good hold of my arm there, right? And then I can just stab him in the back. There we go. So that knife never stops being dangerous.
Hey, how about grab his wrist?
Yep, so you put 2 hands on the wrist here. He's got 2 hands on the wrist, and... But a knife never stops being dangerous. So he did a really good job of staying away from it, but It took all of his effort to do that.
It did.
I could have used my other hand to come in for some
You
swings
could have
and
switched
stuff.
hands too.
Yep, that's another thing I didn't even think about that. Could have switched hands.
I was waiting for it.
Yeah, I should have. I should have. We'll probably refilm that part.
No. I'm tired.
Oh, that was
All
a
right.
good fight.
Yeah. So he did a good job at keeping that away from me in the second
By the
go,
way,
but
I
it
heard
is
your
hard.
arm crack. Are you okay?
Oh yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, no.
I know you're getting up there in your years.
You broke a hip. I just-
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah, I'm not that brittle.
All right.
So out of the folder knives, this one is my favorite. So this is real carbon fiber, making it lighter. I like the this clip here. It has that double backs on itself. It leaps around, and that will let it sit deeper in my pocket, which is better for concealment. It's very light, extraordinarily sharp. Get a little shave there. Yeah, it's pretty gross. Maybe these knives are definitely sharp though.
He's batoning right now. This is what batoning is.
No, it's not. I'm making some kindling.
To pickle my shoe. Yep. Ah. Oh shit. Okay. For all intents and purposes, it still
We're
works.
just breaking it now.
I mean, the joint. I mean, the fact that thing is held up to 6 sledgehammer slams. This is ridiculous. It's barely even bent. Look at the imprint, the imprint of the knife in the wood. That is insane. You see the 5 that was on the side of the knife?
It's actually kind of warm because of
Because of the smashing.
yeah.
And let's see what that knife looks like. Can I get it open? Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, I mean, all right. Whoa! So that steel snapped. That steel knife snapped before the joint broke. That is intense there.
You see how the that little air hole is the weak
And you can see, yeah, you can see the air pole. Yeah, that's definitely the weak point right there. You can see that that kind of crystallization there, that steel there. That you can tell that means that the steel is very hard. It's very hard steel when you have a crack like that, as opposed to a bend. So when steel cracks, it's hard. When it bends, it's soft. Yeah.
So I would use this knife as just a general purpose knife, as well as self-defense. But this knife is actually pretty well put together.
And so I'm going to teach you how to baton. So if you have a knife like this, now if you have a hatchet or an axe, you could just chop it. But we don't have a hatchet or an axe, so we need to baton it. Now if I start chopping, that's not going to do nothing. So what we do is give it a little chop like that. Then we take our baton, we give it some cracks. And then if you have a good sturdy knife, it should be able to just get through this. Alright, so after batoning a little bit, you got these smaller pieces, which are much easier to light on fire. So you just kind of take a little bit off the edge there. Now you can use this process, obviously, for making big wood into small wood, but you can also use it for putting a split in a spear, for example, to notch your knife into, or arrows, or make a bow. There we go. And then I can use that as a stake. If I need to make a tent, lots of things. So if I need to shape wood while operating in the field doing bushcraft of any kind, I have this knife, and instead of sitting there whittling and carving, I can baton and get generalized shape.
So the double-sided blade like this has a couple pros, but mostly cons, to be honest. With a double-sided blade like this as a fighting knife, the penetration's very good. You can slice with either side of the knife, so that's good. Whatever angle you get that knife on target, you can slice with. But as far as any survival use, it's very difficult to use this effectively on the many different applications of a knife. So it's a very good spear, so I could take this and tie this to a stick, especially utilizing those holes there. Maybe even take off half of the guard here. I could use this as a throwing knife.
It worked really well too.
Yeah, it has a little hole right here to help strap it onto a stick. Maybe I could put some barbs in here for fishing or something. And this would be very effective for defensive use of a knife. But if I wanted to use this to, let's say, shave some wood, or split some wood. You're gonna have some difficulty in the general use of this knife.
Are you okay? Drink some more coffee.
Yeah, all
Get
right.
here, dude. Me no talk good.
Oh, you gotta go. Oh.
Clicked on this video.
I'm a little humiliated.
I
in
apologize that
that
you're dumb enough to click on this video after seeing that thumbnail. What made
Why'd you
click?
click?
Why'd you click on this?
Oh, you have regrets, don't you? You have regrets. Here we are talking about knives. Hopefully, we're answering all of your questions.
Probably not.
I want to say thank you to Gear Best for these knives and being able to do this amazing review. For the amount of money these knives are, all of them under $20, they are really fantastic knives. I haven't been able to find a problem with any one of them, no malfunctions. They do their job, they're very sharp. All right, let's wrap this video up and clean up. Can you take care of the pumpkin, Tiki?
Gear Besto!
Oh, get the moldy. Oh, it smells terrible. So much mold on the pumpkin. Oh, jeez.
Gear Besto!
Oh, this is cancer. I love our sponsors. Please, to our sponsors, thank you so much, and please send us swords.
Katana!
Katana, I think it is, Scott.